I think that we're living sort of in a crisis of imagination, and it's largely tied to the lack of imagination that we have out in the world to ingest, to experience. And you like walk around the world and like so much of the world is copy-pasted. The homogenized, boxy world ends up making homogenized, boxy thoughts and containers for people. And so there's very little room for my own imagination to participate. So like that part of myself just slowly starts to dissolve. And because of that, there's something that's been lost there. There's a thirst and hunger for creativity simply because it's fun. But even more so, there's a thirst and hunger for it because people desperately need to be able to know that the world can be different. I'm Vince Kadlubeck. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf is an art production company that has its roots as an art collective. It's a social movement that transformed into a startup business. We have one permanent storytelling experience up right now. It's called the House of Eternal Return. There's a lot of room for influence and interpretation and like gaps in the storytelling, almost on purpose, so that the person who's visiting can fill that gap however they see fit. So it literally generates imagination in the customer as they're walking through. It's asking them to become re-engaged with the scientist inside of them. They get to be explorers. They get to discover various things, open this door, open this drawer, read this journal. That's like the transformative moment that people have when they open the fridge. When they open the fridge and they realize they can go through it, it's now something that is radically different than what they thought it was, which means that the world can be radically different than what they thought the world could be. But most importantly, it's that they can now be radically different than what they thought they could be. When you have a transformative moment and you break down the nature of reality for someone, it actually opens up the possibility of who they can be in the world. And that's like radical for people because they get to be free of the past that was handed to them. The hope is that like Meow Wolf or artists in general, storytellers, create imaginative experiences for consumers that hopefully those experiences trigger the creative self, shakes it loose from its slumber. We're bringing forth the imagination into the world. We did that physically, but soon it's going to be an entire layer built on top of the existing reality that we won't even reference as separate anymore. It'll just be that layer that we live with every day, you know, and instead of it's in our pockets, it's just a part of life all the time. Think of like all the real estate in the entire world, every square footage, every acreage is a canvas. Everywhere you go is a stage. Everyone you talk to is a performer. And the creative layer of life becomes accessible all the time. That's the dream of augmented and alternative realities, creating this cross-reality network. I don't think people are really like quite aware of how close we are to that. We're like 15, 20 years away from a fully creative experience all the time. What is exciting about all this for me is that if a creative layer to life can emerge, and that creative layer needs legit quality creative in order to exist, then hopefully the creative class is elevated. Prosperity for artists is not far-fetched, and the model is right here. Meow Wolf is just one entity in a much larger collaborative fabric that can do something even larger. We can really start to bring forth that creative layer of reality together as a networked hub. We can set the rules, we can set the economy, we can now be the architects of reality.